All right, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Devin Haney, man, we're going to do one more video on this man before we drop this subject. But Devin Haney is getting a lot of backlash for what he said. And he came out and he either he corrected himself. I don't know if it was an apology, but he clarified himself. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So Devin Haney was on, it was on 78 Sports TV's live stream. Shout out to 78 Sports TV and shout out to everybody in the LDBC. Y'all can say what y'all want, but you know you love to listen. So in some LDBC channel generated controversy, Devin Haney was talking, I think he got a super chat from Mahari Sports Nation podcast. Forgive me if I messed up Mahari's channel name, but you know, Mahari Sports Nation podcast left a super chat for Devin Haney, or question around Devin Haney. But in answering the question, Devin Haney said, "Man, I ain't losing to no white boy." Now, there's a whole lot of people that are upset and says, you know, look at the double standards. I'm going to try not to make fun of this while I say this, but I just know when I'm going through this explanation that I really do want to make fun of it. But I'm just going to try to be as clean as I can when I express people's, you know, what they said. So there are people that say, look, that was racist. And look at the double standard, because if there was somebody who was not black that said that about black people, then people would be all upset about it, you know, yada, yada, yada. See, I can't even get it out of my head with the, you know, and try to keep off my face how much disdain I have for that logic. Anyway, we'll act like that's reasonable. And Devin Haney comes out and says, you know, I didn't mean, I wouldn't discriminate against anybody. I'm just saying that, you know, that nobody can beat me, right? So that's how he clarified it. I guess maybe I didn't listen to what he actually said. So if he had said, you know, I apologize for any for you guys not understanding this, you know, I wouldn't discriminate against anybody. I'm talking about I can beat anybody. I'm not a racist. I don't hate, you know, I don't hate white people, that type of thing. If he had said that. Okay. Now here's my thing, man. Devin Haney more than likely is going to profit off of him having said that. That's my bet. Now, in the live stream that we had this morning, OG Boxing Talk, was a lot of fun. It was funny too. You know, Cali Enigma was in there, Drew Titan, Blood Boxing, KQKC. We were chopping it up about this this Devin Haney thing, and I was asking people, how do you think this is going to affect him? And most people pointed out he's going to help him out, because the fact that people are going to dislike him because he said something and stood up and said that particular thing, that, you know, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to watch him to see him lose. And if you want to watch somebody, if you really want to see somebody lose, you're going to tune into their fight. So if people are tuning into your fight, it's really not going to make a difference. And you're going to wind up, I mean, it's not going to, if people tune into their fight because they hate you, if you say something that is going to make people hate you, then hey, they will tune in and watch the fight. That is the Adrian Bronner. That's the Adrian Bronner situation. That's Floyd Mayweather Jr. situation. That's the Deontay Wilder situation. There's a whole lot of people that watch Deontay Wilder. A whole lot of people poured in and paid $1,500 tickets for nosebleeds to Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury, because they hated Deontay Wilder so much they were willing to pay that much money. So it wind up being a situation for Deontay Wilder that although he lost the fight, Deontay Wilder is $40 million richer. So, you know, hey man, you got to take the good with the bad type of situation. So there's a lot of people that believed when I asked them that, you know, this is going to be something where Devin Haney winds up, you know, coming out strong because of it. And I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that at all. I don't think though that, like what some people would say was that they thought Devin Haney did it, you know, intentionally. From what I got from it, no, is he just said something that people say. you know, that it's not uncommon to hear. You can be in basketball that black people will say, and it's not uncommon, where you have people in basketball say something like that, like, we're about to play basketball. You guys are about to play. You about to play that W8. You dang, see it that funny? When you talk about this, you almost forget that the word white is never going to get buzzed out because it's not a slur. So number one, saying a white guy is like saying an Asian girl. It's literally not a slur. But I don't think Devin Haney was trying to be strategic with it. I just think that he was saying something, referring to Lomachenko talking to another black dude, was like, nah, man, I ain't never gonna let them be. Yeah, none of them dudes gonna beat me. Just, you know, whatever. But I don't think that he was being, I don't think that he was trying to be calculating with it. You know what I mean? I just think that that's an example of him being himself and saying something that he would say in a gym or around people that he trusts. It just is something that got out that as a result is going to create the reaction that we're talking about. So I don't think that he did it on purpose, but I do think that at the end of the day, it's going to wind up being something that people talk about and something that might ultimately drive him to being more popular, because they will have the desire to see Lomachenko beat him, and actually Lomachenko could be the only guy, maybe Luke Campbell. They'd be really amped up to see the Luke Campbell fight and the Vasily Lomachenko fight, or they could despise him so much like Deontay Wilder that they don't even care. They'll inaugurate a black guy in order to get the thrill of seeing Deontay Wilder lose. So yeah, they'll do that with Devin Haney, man. But Devin Haney apologizing and making that statement, it was a smart thing for him to do. I don't have any issue whatsoever for him for clarifying it. But man, I don't have an issue with people that would say, hey, that's something that Devin Haney shouldn't have said. I mean, if I was talking to Devin Haney and I was sitting there and it was like he said, hey, Fanon, this is what I'm going to say to the answer, to answer the question from Mahari Nation. I'm going to say this. I would say, hey, man, why don't you just say that nobody will beat you? Because you don't want to give people armor to try to tear at you. So while I would say that, he could have used other words that would have helped him avoid this particular problem, and I doubt that you will ever hear him say that again, I don't necessarily have an issue with the thought process in his head, because I know that that's not rooted in a grand dislike for another group of people. It's more just, something that you say, something like almost like not quite a colloquialism, but I don't think that there was any ill will towards him. Now, if he had ill will when he said something about Lomachenko because of that reason, I would say, man, don't say anything like that, man, because even though you might despise like some of these fans that are out there talking crazy about Vasily Lomachenko, man, Vasily Lomachenko himself, dude, that seems like a straight up and down guy to me, man. We're not talking about Sergey Kovalev. We're talking about somebody that for the most part, through the vast majority of his career, has been a very humble dude, a guy that has fought, whoever it is that's put in front of him. There's no reason, I wouldn't say there was any reason to have any animosity towards Vasily Lomachenko, right? So, but just saying something because that's, because you just talk a little smack, man, whatever. Now, that is the Devin Haney side of it. The people making a storm about it, man, get out of here. First of all, you're not even offended. Like, I would love to see who the guy is, who the European American is that actually got offended by Devin Haney ever saying that. By Devin Haney saying that. Like, who got offended, right? Like, oh, I can't believe he said that. That hurts my feelings so much. I'm about to go cry. Man, they ain't saying that, dude, because there's no weight behind it. There's no history behind that. There's no history of great amounts of oppression or issues or things happening to people because a 20-year-old black kid from California says that he can beat you in a boxing match. There's nothing behind that. There's no history to say, oh, well, where could this lead to? Because thought processes like that have existed for black people for as long as there's been black people in the United States. Somebody has had that attitude like, man, I don't want to lose to them. But what's the result of it? Is the result of it that people lose their jobs, or that houses get burned down, or churches get burned down, or, you know, people get shot in the street or slung up on trees? No, there's no history. There's no history of action being, no significant history of any action being connected to a thought process like that. But on the other side of it, there is. So that's why people would be super concerned about it and be really adamant that people don't use that word or say those type of things. It's because of what those thoughts, what those words have led to. And that's significant action. And I'm real hard pressed to see where Devin Haney's, where that type of comment from Devin Haney is going to lead anybody into a situation where they're mistreated. I don't see it, but I can point to you a hundred examples, hundreds of examples of it going the other way, which might be why somebody why if Bob Arum said something like black people aren't marketable, or Abel Sanchez said black fighters don't sell, why black people might get a little more hot, because they can say, hold on, man, that's the type of that's the type of thing that people said that led to Black Murderers Row. That's the type of attitude that in the past has led to there not being a black fighter fighting for a championship between the time Jack Johnson held it and the time Joe Louis held it almost 30 years later. Those attitudes actually led to something significant happening. It's not gone the other way. So, you know, you got to excuse me if I don't get up in arms and demand this guy jump down on his knees and apologize for something that, number one, probably didn't offend anybody. And in number two, it didn't offend anybody because there's absolutely no significant history whatsoever of racism being used as a way to tear down white Americans. It just has never happened. So it's kind of hard for me to take it with the same seriousness as I would the other way around. And that's just because of the facts of how life is played out, how things have played out in the real world in actuality, not necessarily just what you feel about the words. But anyway, that's me on that subject. I know that was a bit of a ramble, but it's Sunday and we talking boxing, and that's because that's what we do. Y'all let me know what you think about what you think about what we talked about in the comment section. And with that, we're out. Peace.